She will be a sophomore at MIT this August. Welcome, Shreya. And then we have, in the yellow shirt, is my daughter, Trisha Kalpati. Trisha is a rising senior in high school. She is a 4-time Amy qualifier, has attended National Math Counts, National Science Bowl, and the USA Brain Bee, and she completed AP Calculus BC in 8th grade. She placed 4th at the North-South National Senior Brain Bee, and is also a USA Bio Olympiad semifinalist. She also placed 8th in the National Brain Bee this year. Trisha was a reviewer for the North-South Mathematic team, which JCG alluded to. She has conducted many webinars for the AMCs and AME for North-South, and was featured on the panel for the Meet the Math Pros last year or the year before. Trisha aspires to pursue neuroscience in any form and conducts neuroscience research at her local university in the University of Pittsburgh. We are from Pennsylvania. That's Trisha. So I'll tell a little bit about how our family started with North-South and math and where we are now. And then I'll let the panelists talk as well. So again, I'm a physician by profession. I'm a pediatric endocrinologist. My husband is also a physician, but as many Indian families, I would say, maybe a stereotype or biased opinion, we are all interested in math. So when my girls, I have 3 kids. My daughters are 17 and 15, and my son is 8 years old now. He finished his MB1 here this morning, and he's with my husband back home. So when my daughters were very little, some of you are here today, like in 1st grade, I think Trisha can tell more, we started the math journey. We first started with spelling bee because we had local spelling bee champions. We lived in Kansas at the time, and if you follow spelling bee, of course, many of our North-South kids do extremely well in spelling bee and have been the champions for several years. So we started with spelling bee, but quickly got bored by it. And we found our love for math soon after, and ever since we have been doing math for more than 10 years now. And we are really blessed to have found North-South. I hope you all share the same feelings, because there are several math competitions, and we'll talk about that. But when you come here, it feels like you're with your family in home. We really missed having the chance to come to the national finals in the last couple of years, because it has been online. Because when we went to the regionals, that's when we met other families that had similar interests. My kids could find other kids who had similar interests. And in Kansas, it was really a small group of maybe 50 families, and we shared a lot, learned a lot, cherished a lot, and it was really a nice time. And then we moved to Pittsburgh, and we struggled because every area is different, as you may know. We struggled to find families of similar interests, and that's when I started volunteering for North-South, so that I can meet people outside of my hometown. So about 3 years ago, to see if we can form a team that would start writing questions for North-South, so that they can have their own question bank for anyone in grade 3, and they can use those for coaching or for contests. So we completed the task. We had about 20 plus members, adults and student volunteers who worked week after week for 2 years, and we had, I forget, several thousand questions for anyone who grade 3 entered into an online program that Dr. Chikuri commissioned us to. And then, after that, our team members raised a question about what more can we do. So we started hosting we also host, because math is still, my passion, so we still host prep clubs for higher level math competitions like AME and AMC 10 and 12. That's where we found Shreya, Trisha, and Satvik, to come help us with those sessions. So that's our story. So I'll let Satvik start.
So I guess from the beginning, my family, even before I started competing in NSF contests, they had some family friends who were involved in NSF, very involved in NSF. And so when I reached kindergarten, my family decided to enroll me, in some NSF contests. And I mean, I've competed in NSF contests from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. And I've tried almost every single contest: spelling, vocabulary, math, science, essay writing, public speaking. Yeah. But I think definitely like the main contests that kind of had influence on me were math, science, and vocabulary. These NSF contests and preparing for them, right, have been extremely helpful. Not only through like my middle school, but also even in high school, right? Like for example, um, these math contests, um, you have, preparing for the NSF contest is a really, really good way to prepare for these higher level high school ones. Um, and preparing for like, the science contest helped me, in science bowl, in middle school and high school science bowl. And even the vocabulary contest, right? You often see, people when studying for like the SAT or like the PSAT, you see them studying vocabulary. And these NSF contests, you realize that once you go to high school that they have this impact on you where you're already ahead of all of your peers, right? Um, and in terms of the community, right? I've been going to NSF nationals from when I was in first grade to 8th grade, and not only me but my family, we've met so many people at these national contests, and also through the regional contests, in our area. Um, and so after I finished 8th grade, I thought my involvement would be over, but I saw how NSF, right, they have high school coaches, and so I jumped at the chance to be involved with it because I was already very involved with my high school tutoring, and teaching is just something that I really enjoy doing, and so I have been a coach through most of my high school years, and then recently for the summer. When I was reached out to be a coach for Amy, that kind of was something that I really look forward to because math competitions is one of my passions, and so being able to combine with teaching, that has been really nice, and yeah, I plan to continue that the NSF.
Okay. So, like my mom had said, I've been involved with NSF since kindergarten. So it's the first ever math competition I sat in. In kindergarten, I didn't understand half of the problems. I think I got 32nd place at my regionals. And then in first grade, somehow or another, I didn't prepare at all, but I qualified for nationals, and I got 81st place. But it was just the community. I was so astounded by how many people were there and how many friends I made. I remember I swam in the swimming pool with the person that got 6th place, and I was just like, wow, I met him and I became friends with him, and it was just so inspiring to me that I kept on coming back. I came to NSF Nationals in person until 7th grade, and then it became during the COVID times, but I still competed from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th with the high school competitions that they gave, like computer science and brain beat. But the biggest thing about NSF for me was that it built my foundation. It built how I should solve those first simple problems. What gave me those preparation for those contests, and that
that come in like starting in like sixth to like eighth grade up till your high school years. So that was the biggest thing that NSF gave me. In high school, my interests from math, though I still love math, it has kind of shifted to neuroscience. I don't know, I'm following in my mom and dad's footsteps and going into the medical field. But I still love to come back and teach. Like I taught for the Amy class for NSF last fall, and sometimes I still search up AMC problems and I do them because it's just so fun to me to continue to do, and I help my brother out in his math. And I think that's what NSF gave me, that foundation. And I think that's why we're all here today.
Hey, hi everyone. So I was involved with NSF in like 3 ways. Like taking the contest, like helping proctoring, and like teaching classes. Okay, so about like taking the contest. So like when I was young, I think Shripriyanti said 2nd grade. My dad signed me up for NSF contest, and like Satvik said, it was like a lot of different contests. But in particular, we're gonna talk about math here, cause y'all are math nerds, which is a good thing. So like when like my dad really like is interested in math, as Shripriyanti said, it might be a bit of a stereotype, but like whenever he would talk about math to me, because he like knew so much more than me as a 2nd grader, every time he like brought up something, he would be like, oh, and did you know that this relates to this other thing? And it would be like trying to take the simple concepts that I was gonna learn in 2nd grade and like extending them as far as you can go, as far as you can take it. And like contest math is like this, where you learn about something simple like circles or triangles in geometry, and you take those simple concepts. You don't go as far as like calculus, obviously, but you take those simple concepts and take them very far with like, I don't know, like projections and stuff like this, or inversion. And like this process is one of the like, ooh, spooky. This process like is the thing that I like about math the most, because you play around with ideas a lot, and it's like very fun. And like, yeah, the support or like the framework for that NSF gives for doing contest math in like a community setting was like really big for me to develop that like creative side. Okay, so moving on to like proctoring tests. Okay, so when I first came into like the room for the NSF tests, and like you sit down in like your places, and like there's someone up here who's like, okay, so here's the rules of the contest. Like we start at like this time, you have to wait, and like, you know, the minute turns to like 12:30, you like flip the page and like start writing. That process like really mesmerized me. It was like a huge like video game in which there are like player characters, which are the participants, and the NPCs, which are the volunteers, and like it was like really fun, and it was like, whoa, I would definitely play this game again. So and you can like level up between years. It's like great. So when I like became a high schooler and like actually could volunteer, I was like, I'm gonna totally sell this video game. So like it was really fun to like be the person who set the mood, and like I like really wanted to help give the kids the experience that like I had coming into the contest room when I was taking the test. And finally, teaching. So like I taught for the Amy prep club that Shripriyanti coordinated, and like the thing about like Amy in particular is that they're really they really want you to do the thing where you take like a simple concept and run with it, because you only have like 15 questions in 3 hours. So like you really have to take your ideas very far. And like teaching this course also gave me the ability to like impart the taking ideas very far thing on the students, just like my dad like wanted to impart that knowledge to me when I was like a little kid. And it's like really fun. Like you can tell stories all day. Yeah, that's it.
That's great. Thank you all. So I have a couple of questions to the panelists, and then we can open questions to everyone else too. So we've talked a lot about our journey within North-South,
But we also mentioned several other competition names like AMC, AME, AMO within math, and there were other non-math but math-related competitions too that you all have taken and done very well at. So why don't one of you say, what are the other math competitions or how you can grow with math from elementary to middle to high school and maybe even beyond? Seth, you want to start?
Okay, so I think probably the most common math competition outside of NSF that you'll really hear about, right, are the AMCs, right? These are these are run by MAA, Mathematical Association of America, and in general, right, the way it works is you have first like the AMC contests, right? For middle schoolers, you have the AMC 8, and then you have the AMC 10 and the AMC 12. Now, don't be fooled by the name, right? AMC 10 is not only for like high schoolers, but rather it's often what happens is, you first take the AMC 8, and then if you do good on that, then it's probably like a sign that you're ready for the AMC 10, right? I think
And
probably
AMC
always.
stands for American Mathematics
Yeah,
Competition,
American
something
Mathematics
like that.
Competition. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all of us have taken the AMC 10 in middle school, right? And I think that's definitely one thing that some people don't realize. And same with the AMC 12, right? The AMC 12 is similar to the AMC 10 in that it's a high school competition, but of course middle schoolers can also take it. The one difference, right, between the AMC 10 and the 12 is that the 12 also contains some concepts from pre-calculus, right? So stuff like trigonometry or like complex numbers. And so based on your scores on the AMC 10 and the AMC 12, right, there are certain cutoff scores, then you qualify for the AME, right, the American Invitational Math Exam. And that is the test that has, 15 questions to be solved in 3 hours, right? And so some of these questions are usually, pretty long, which makes them intimidating at times. And so what happens after that is they combine your score from the AME with either the AMC 10 or the 12, depending on which one you took, and then you qualify for either the American Math Olympiad, right, the USAMO, some people would call it, or the junior, USA Math Olympiad, right? And which one you qualify for depends on whether you took the AMC 10 or the AMC 12, right? And so that exam is a bit more daunting. You have, if I recall correctly, it's 2 days, and in each day you have 3 problems to be solved in 4 hours, I believe. I believe it's 4 hours. And these questions, right, are pretty different from the ones that you've seen before, because these ones are usually involve like proofs, right? So you have to not only solve problems, but be able to explain your reasoning, right? And that's something that you see a lot in college, right? A lot of you have taken college math classes, especially adults, and you'll know that like in college it becomes important not only to solve these like advanced problems, but also be able to kind of explain your reasoning. And so after these 2 contests, then you get invited to essentially a USA Math Camp, right? And from there, they have this like selection process, after which 4 people are selected to represent the USA at the International Math Olympiad, right? And so that's kind of this progression of MAA contests, right? But aside from that, there are also some other common names you've probably heard. You have Math Counts, right, which is a very popular middle school competition, where you have like the chapter level, the state level, and the national level. And this one usually, people compete like with their school, right? Or if you're homeschooled, you could also just compete as like an independent, person. And then I guess you also have there's a competition called like the Math Kangaroo, which I've competed in. That one actually runs all the way up to high school. And I guess one unique thing about that, so they're like a competition that's based in Europe, right? And so in 9th and 10th grade, for people that do well, they invite 10 high schoolers from the USA to go to a math camp in Poland, right? And so there, it's a very nice experience. You get to meet people from other countries. And for 11th and 12th graders, they actually provide scholarships, right? So I think, and one thing that kind of differentiates that from the MAA contests and math counts is actually how those contests are a little bit more logic-based. So they introduce math concepts as well, but it's a little more approachable in the sense that they also like, especially like the younger contests are not as intimidating as, you know, these MAA contests. If one of you guys wants to talk about like high school ones, like high school contests.
Wait, really quickly before we
yeah.
talk about high school ones, like high school contests, right?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of like little kids here.
Yeah.
Math Kangaroo is a thing that you can do when you're young.
Yeah.
Like, is it by grade? Like,
Yeah. It's by grade. It starts at first grade.
okay, sounds good. There's also a thing called Purple Comet, which is like, yeah. Wait, all of the math contests with like for like younger kids have like really fun names, like Math Kangaroo, Purple Comet. And also like your local like high schools and stuff will probably like be super interested in, or like either they're already running things for younger grades, or they'll be super interested, like their math club will be super interested in doing that for you. So like that's another thing that you can do. Go ahead.
Yeah, so with math counts, because as I was saying, like the kid, as Shreya was also saying, the kids are around elementary to middle school. The Math Kangaroo is great. Math counts is from 6th to 8th grade through your school. So look into if your school offers math counts, or if you're homeschooled, you can obviously go through that. But if they don't have a chapter, ask them to start a chapter with the sponsor, because that is one of the most, math counts was like the first big national competition like I attended aside from NSF, where there was just 4 people from each state come to, we had it in Florida, and it's at a huge place, and it was just it was inspiring to see, like, there's this thing called the countdown round. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube, where it's like 2 people race against each other, and like some people can answer the question, which is like 50 lines long in like 3 seconds. And it's really cool to see. You see it on YouTube and you're like, wow, how are they so good? But you see it in person and it's just such a different experience. So look into looking at math counts, which is like the MB3 competitions here at NSF. They definitely prepare you for like the chapter level math counts. So look into those types of competitions, especially for this age range. And Math Kangaroo is also very fun, and Purple Comet is actually a team competition. I did it through my school, and it was really fun to like yell at your teammates to get your problems to do it faster and everything. So those little competitions, and in your, as Shreya was saying, in local competitions, there's a lot of small competitions. That's actually one of the first things I did when I was in 2nd grade. I went to a high school was running a competition, and that was where I saw all these like big 8th graders at a regional one, and it was really fun because those problems aren't as difficult. They're not as daunting as Satvik was saying with Math Kangaroo and stuff. Like, they're more approachable for people who are just starting out, and you also get to make friends, and you can maybe study together because they might be going to the same school as you. With these national competitions, you meet people, but you don't get to see them in person often. So these local things are stuff that you can encourage your high school buddies to start, or the teachers to start as well.
So the theme here is, what we hear is, if you like math, you have to really explore it in many different ways, preferably from an young age, but it's never too late to start. It's just like any other sport. The more you go out and play, the more you get better at it. So math is really a sport. So the more competitions you take part in, regional, state, and national level, it doesn't matter what you place. Don't compare yourself with others. Compare yourself, with about how you did in other competitions, if at all, or how you did the previous year, how you're advancing. And that will take you a long way. It's the process that really does matter. You hear that from everybody else. It's not the result, but the journey will tell you it is truly the process that matters. You don't have to go to any place to win or to be the top 10 or whatever. but really, what work ethic are you doing? Like, what will you do? It's an opportunity cost, right? If you didn't do math, what else will you be doing? If you will be doing something else that's, more interesting to you and more rewarding in the long run, then go for it. But if you're not doing math, if you'll be watching TV or, more time on TV or social media, that's, makes you feel good, today, but it's not going to help you in the long run. I know you're kids, but, growing up is, that's how you think, right? As you grow up, you have to think a little bit long term at a time. Like, what about my school? What about next year? What about 3 years from now, 5 years from now? So there are so many opportunities, and you will learn about these opportunities as you come to these competitions. Just keep doing it. And we'll talk about resources too, on how you can equip yourself better to keep doing it. That's one thing. And then I wanted, one other competition that I think we missed is ARML, ARML, right? American Regional Mathematical Leagues. That's a high school competition. Many local chapters will have it. We loved it in Pittsburgh when we moved, because it was run by a university graduate students, math majors. So these are higher level concepts that my husband and I can't even think of. So we needed somebody else to work with the girls, and we got it from that group, and we are very thankful for that. So you have to look around, search around, find, and once you start looking, you'll be amazed how many different opportunities are there, and how you can grow. The other thing I want to mention is, Trisha, you may want to talk about your, you started a math competition regionally because there was not that many within our area. So this is another way how math can help you grow as a person.
Yes. Oh, it's not on. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, and Shreya was saying, with the local high school friends, so I was looking around because when I was little, as I said, I went to high school competitions that were run by my high school friends that I competed in. And I was looking around to see if my brother and his friends could do something like that. And there was not really anything, because as we were talking about in Pittsburgh, it's very sparsely located. Everyone is there's not really one specific center where there's a ton of things located. So I wanted to create something that would emulate what I experienced in 2nd and 3rd grade. So I started a Pittsburgh Metro Math competition. It only started this year. We had it in January, and we weren't expecting so many people to come. We had maybe around 4 or 5 sponsors. We had around $500 to rent a facility at our local middle school. And we had pizza and just Capri Sun for the kids. And we held the competition for the 3rd to 8th grade level. So that is where you really find an abundance of competitions. And that's where we wanted to target, because once you get into the high school levels, you kind of already figure out what you want to do. So we wanted to introduce math at the younger age. So 3rd to 8th grade is where we started. And it was just on a Friday night after school, and we sent it out to my sponsor. My sponsor was my middle school science bowl coach. He was amazing. And he sent it out to maybe 3 or 4 schools. And the first day, we look at our sign-up form, and we see 50 sign-ups. We were expecting maybe 30 or 40 people to come, maximum. And we were so amazed, because we didn't know, because when you talk to your friends or those families, the math competitions aren't really talked about, especially where we live. And it's only once you're given the opportunity that you're able to explore it. Sometimes people just don't think on their own to look for math competitions. And so the first day we got 50, and in total we had 160 little kids show up, and we had people at the door coming in and signing up. So we had about 170 to 80 kids that day take the test, and we provided little, to encourage them, top 10 in each level. So even though if there was 15 kids participating in 4th grade, we still did top 10 for them, because if you get an award or something, especially when you're little, you feel that encouragement, and you get really excited, and that motivates you to do more. So we gave $10 Amazon gift cards to them. And it was such a big success. We've had emails still coming back to us being like, can you please make another one? And can you please do another competition like that? And even there were, it was a wide demographic, because once you go to math counts and stuff, you mainly see like Indians and like East Asians come about, but they're like, it shows that everyone is interested in these things. So I think that's what I learned, and that's what I want everyone to go back to wherever you guys live. See what types of things there are. Try to start something like that. Ask. All the problems that we gave were created by me and a friend and my sister. So, like, just try to look out for those things, or try to make those things happen where you are. And you'll be really surprised at how many people are interested in it.
Really quickly, like 2 things. One is I like really appreciate that the group that you had in the Pittsburgh Metro Math competition, okay, was like diverse, because especially like it's hard to enter well-formed communities with existing competitions that like aren't your demographic. So like new local competitions like often like give you the opportunity to like make a space for yourself, which is really good. Shoot. Oh yeah. I would like to add on to like if you're like an older kid, and like you like math, it is really good to try and make competition problems. My friends and I also ran a math meet during COVID, which is a little different, because like again, you don't like see people in person as much, but this was like a kind of like peculiar kind of competition. It had like different rounds. It was like I forgot the name of like the type of competition where like you do relay round. So you can only get the next set of problems after you turn in your previous set of answers. And it was also a team competition. Why was it like this? Because we wanted to make it a video game. So true. But yeah, so like.
Different themes also, right? You had one for like Halloween, one for.
Oh yeah. But like, basically the idea was like we want to get people like to know each other, even like during COVID. It like I don't know. It was like a way for us to not be in our own heads or like on the internet by ourselves, and instead like see actual people on the other side of the screens and like do stuff, which is really good. And yeah, like writing problems also like allows you to start with arbitrary like ideas and take them very far. The entire process of writing a problem is like seeing different directions that you can take a concept with and like choosing the one that you like the most or something. Like is
and it helps you reinforce like what you already know. So definitely creating problems it works with creativity, and it helps you learn better as well.
And really quickly, I think Satvik wanted to say something, but like the last thing was when sorry, Thrisha, I know your name, I promise. Talked about her science bowl leader. Having a mentor is like really good, like especially at your school, because like sometimes like your school just like throws like challenges at you. Like for example, there's a thing called like, well, you guys will have known this if you have taken like the geography bee at your school or like the script spelling bee at your school. Like they just like throw things at you and like you get exposed to a lot of things. One of the math things that they throw at you is CML, Continental Math League, which I don't know if like still's a thing, but when I was in like upper elementary, they threw it at me and I was like, whoa, like this is like short. It's like only 6 questions in like half an hour. Yeah. And it's like, so it's like bite size and it's like fun. Like the problems aren't very hard, and it like, you know, like makes you feel like, oh, this is a thing that happens. And like having a mentor also lets you like reach out to people when you want to like run things and like have publicity, which is like pretty good. Okay, yeah.
I guess 2 things. Just a small thing is there's a competition called Math Madness, right? It's like It's not very well known, but I think it was honestly a really, really fun contest for me. It's basically it's a very team-based contest where you essentially have like it's like every week. It's like 30 minutes. Everyone in your school, right, or whoever is in your school can do this like math contest. It's like usually 6 to 8 problems, and what they do is they take your top 5 scores from your school, and that's kind of like your score for your school. And the way the competition works is it's essentially like a bracket with a bunch of other schools, right, from all across the nation. And I did that in middle school and in high school as well. And I think it's if you definitely have like a math club at your school, definitely something to encourage, because I think it's just an overall really fun contest, with a very low time commitment, but it's also a great way to just like meet new people. Um, Also, I guess on the topic of like creating math competitions, this is kind of like a more like future perspective. So I think like a year or two before I entered high school, I found out that my high school actually started a math competition of their own, right? Because in my area there weren't really many math competitions, and so my high school decided to start one. And at the time, right, when I competed in 8th grade, it was basically only middle schoolers from my high school, and then a couple of other people who basically just heard about it through like word of mouth, right? And I was kind of one of those people, and that was kind of a big introduction, because that's actually how I learned about like my high school, right? That I ended up attending the next year, but also just meeting people at that school, right? And over the years, right, now when I was a senior, right, I was kind of in charge of organizing, and at that point, I really saw how like the contest grew, and how now at that point schools were like coming together as kind of like a trip, right? Which is like how it evolved from a contest where people outside only just came through like word of mouth to like whole like schools just coming together. And I think it's definitely like it's a great way again for now you have kids like this contest. We host it for 5th through 8th graders, which is really, right, as I said, it's a really good time to get into math, and a good time to like kind of meet people, because once you enter high school, it's like if you start doing math, sometimes you might feel like a little behind, right? And that honestly is like a deterrent for a lot of people, right? Like people start doing math competition in high school and they see all these other people who have like been doing math competition for so long, and so I think it's really important, right, to get that awareness from a young age.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll open up questions. Yeah,
Oh,
really short comments.
okay,
Yeah.
really short. If you are a person who did not do math contests when you were younger, or like did not, like I feel like with NSF, a lot of you are like that, like have done contests from a young age. But even if you aren't, or like didn't put a lot of time into it, like math is like really versatile, and like you do math, or like you do mathematical thinking, like without like knowing it a lot of the times. It's like a playing with of ideas. I don't know if I grammared it right, but like that like is like much more beautiful than like contests seem like a math contest. I think is much more beautiful than like a spelling bee in the ways. Well, okay, like this can be a hot take, but like but like and so like math retains its beauty even when it's not in a video game form, and like
Oh, that comes from Shreya. Wow. Yeah.
So they have, I guess, so with their interest in math, so much to share. But I think we should probably listen to, for any
I'm
questions.
sorry.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that you all are, I don't think I need it.
No, I don't know if people in the back can.
Yeah, so it's obvious that you all are very passionate about math, and what would be helpful is to, now that you're already in college, to share your perspectives in terms of long-term opportunities, career opportunities that you see for people who are interested in math.
I don't know anything.
Oh, it was already. Thanks. So a lot of my math. So in my dorm, there are a lot of.
I'm sorry. So we have about 15 minutes. So there were so many hands raised. So short and sweet answers.
Okay, yeah, sorry. A lot of my math major friends are into like quant or like want to do quant, which is like obviously very lucrative. But like there are many other like career paths that they want, for example, professorship or like software engineering.
I think just a small thing is also being interested in math doesn't mean that you have to do a math major. I think there are a lot of adjacent areas like like science, computer science, physics, any of those areas, and you can still like kind of retain your math in those areas.
I have two questions, but I will ask only one for now. So I would like to hear from you the evolution of work ethics that you have gone through. It would be good to hear you speak.
I mean, so like how much I worked for it, or like
The work ethic
that for
Gary
math.
was mentioning about everyone has gone through their own evolution, right? Like
Okay.
how
Yeah. So from second grade to I would say about fifth or sixth grade, math was like my only like it was like a straight path. Like every day I would come home from school. Even in school, like I would tell my teachers like, "Hey, I don't want to do just this math. Give me like harder math." And so that would be my straight path. So that would be my focus every day, all day. And then I started to explore more things. Like Science Bowl in sixth, seventh, eighth grade. I went to National Science Bowl 2 out of the 3 years there because of just the great team I had, and I gave in a bit of my math knowledge there as well. So my interest started to kind of shift. I still was doing math. I qualified for the Amy in 8th grade. I went to national math counts in 7th grade. I was doing math still very consistently every day, maybe around an hour. It didn't matter like how much I was doing. It was still math was in my mind. And then for me personally, as we were talking about the careers, my interest is in neuroscience now. Like I don't want to go into like a pure mathematical major or anything, but I still see math in there. Like when I have to calculate like different concentrations for research, like I need 70% ethanol. Like I use math for that, and I use those quick number sense. Like that is very helpful to me. So now my work ethic for math is not as deep as I used to be, but I think for other people, maybe like Satvik or Shreya, it'd be a little different. So
Yeah, I think just one thing is sometimes as a parent, I know that sometimes parents kind of force like their kids to do math, and honestly, that was kind of for me.
helpful at first,
Yeah, I think at the time, probably until like 7th grade. I think about until like 6th or 7th grade, a lot of the math preparation was, or especially in elementary school, a lot of the math preparation was kind of a result of like my parents kind of making me do it. My priority was probably playing video games. I think what really kind of changed that for me was like meeting people that kind of just motivated me to want to practice more. I think like in high school with my high school math club, my middle school math club, like those friends kind of turned math from just like, oh, you're preparing for a competition to like you're preparing to do well and like have fun like with your friends. I think that's kind of my perspective.
Maybe 2 or 3 more questions. Yeah, I'll bring the mic
So,
to you next.
My question was actually on motivation itself. Sometimes the problems are so daunting that you feel if you do not know how to solve them, and going to the next level in your math, it could be very, very daunting and maybe discouraging also initially. So how did you overcome that, just that little bump to go beyond that, what do you say, feeling demotivated and still continuing for, pursuing math for years together?
I'm good. Yeah, so let's see. At first, like as a little kid, you kind of like don't know about like, or I don't know if you know, but like basically you do the test regardless of like if you're good at them, because that's what you're supposed to do. But afterwards, like when you are, for example, in 6th grade and you're like, whoa, these 8th graders are like really good at math. There's like a personal aspect, or okay, for me there was a personal aspect to it, which is like I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna say it's really pretty when you like solve a thing and you're like, wow, that's how it works. Also, like for me, doing actual tests was like not that fun because like then you're like, oh, like I should have gotten 100%. But if you like go through a book or something, you like see the evolution of like the ideas in the book, and you're like, after you're done, it's like, whoa, like I actually thought through all of that, and it's like for example, Art of Problem Solving has like really good books where they take you like they handhold you through like all of the steps, yeah, all of the like abstractions and stuff, as opposed to like just like telling you about it and then like making you do problems. So like the entire journey was like how I continued to progress in math, even though like I might have been demotivated by like 8th graders being like super good. You guys.
Yeah, so she mentioned art of, sorry, okay. That's okay.
I hear that you all say that you have been doing math since childhood and all that, right? Apart from schooling or taking tuitions for math, are there any resources or references or books? Because not everyone gets access to all that, right?
Yes, so that's exactly what I was going to just expand on. So she's mentioned Art of Problem Solving, and Art of Problem Solving is a super, super great resource. They offer online classes. For math counts, they offer for the AMC8s, which is like the perfect level for this age group. They offer like these online classes with like great coaches. And then they offer even more classes than that, but they also have these amazing books, as Shreya was saying. They have like, they go from introductions to combinatorics, algebra, geometry, number theory. And then they also have just like a combined one with like, they have pre-algebra, they have algebra, they have pre-calc, they have just a volume. They have, it's called like AOPS Volume 1. And I think that was like the best book for me when I was preparing for like math counts, because it held you from like the simple like PEMDAS to the ending where you do like, they had like a chapter something with like a potpourri of problems with just so many of them. And they insert like jokes into their books so that they know, so that you can just laugh when you're doing your math. And it's a very wide span. And Math Counts also offers these things called Math Counts handbooks. And it's just like a compilation of, I think, around 200 problems. It starts from very easy and it progresses to pretty difficult problems. And that's another thing with like overcoming the bumps. Like as you do like a set, it's like a workbook of like 10 problems each. It like progresses in difficulty, and that will help you as you go from one step to the other.
Yeah, and North-South also offers coaching, as you probably already know. So we've been updating our material, and if you have seen, our new science material is pretty revamped from, well, 10 years back. And then we're doing that for math as well. And like Sripriya and our team has been now catering to the AME Prep Club. Last year we started, Trisha, Shay and all, and it's been continuing. And we have now started AP classes as well, right? So, and AMC 8 also is in consideration. We need volunteers. So if any of you are interested, and if any high schoolers are listening, if you can join us, you could join us as an assistant coach, and we will get you up to speed. And like where you said, the little kids, when they see problems that are daunting, they need some kind of mentorship and so on, right? So as long as they're participating in a weekly setting, right? I mean, besides what they do in school, if they are doing like either through North-South or through AOPS, which is an excellent resource as well. So that actually gives them confidence to build their skills. So I would encourage people to do that. And then also, not just North-South, but also whatever other opportunities you have through the year, if you can make them participate, that will gain confidence also. And these people are available as a resource as well, so you can always reach out.
Wait, two things really quickly. One is about the AOPS books. In addition to like jokes, they tell you the wrong idea first, and then make you figure out what the right like what the right idea should be. And like, this is, I think, one of the biggest parts about math. I read a PDF recently called Proofs and Refutations. Adults here, you should definitely read it. It's by like Paul Lagatos. And like, basically, okay, I won't expand on it, but you should read Proofs and Refutations.
Any other questions?
True. Wait, the second thing was going to be,
Yeah, you have time until I reach her.
I
Oops,
forgot what
5,
the second.
4, 3.
No, you can do it.
I'm just kidding. Did you want to say
No,
something?
I forgot.
2 or 3 more minutes. probably.
It's all good. Yeah.
Hi, it's a quick question. So during this process of preparation for these exams, sometimes we've bumped into some questions, really hard ones, and we don't have the solutions anywhere. I know we do have those AOPS books and other, but still there are some questions, certain questions, where there's no solution. We know the answer key, but we don't know how to approach. So are there any specific resources where we can, which will be helpful for us? Because that is little disturbing, right? It will be disappointing when we don't get the answer, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the two best resources for that is one, right? If you know people that are better than you at math, I think that's a big motivating factor as well, where you see people that are better than you. But for example, high school, right? If you're like a freshman, there might be like juniors or seniors that might be able to help you. If not, a really good resource is Art of Problem Solving. They have a forum, right? And there you can just post questions, and there will be tons of people who will be able to give you the answers and solutions.
Also, Math Stack Exchange. It's like it's like Art of Problem Solving forum.
So the forum in Art of Problem Solving also you can post. People are active, they will also answer. And Mass Stack Exchange is also like, for software engineers, probably you all already know about Stack Overflow, right? So it's like that. So you can post your question there. Get answer.
Also, really quickly, I figured out what I was gonna say. If any of you little kids want to do like math counts or other things and want it like a video game, Art of Problem Solving does that too. There's Math Counts Trainer and like Alchemist.
Yeah, for the win.
Alchemist is
And for the win, yeah.
On Art of Problem Solving, yeah.
Yeah,
So
on the
explore the Art of Problem Solving website if you haven't done so already. It is truly an awesome website.
I think Richard Russett actually came to NSF.
Yes.
Yeah, he usually
yeah,
comes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
So we do have a lot of this AOPS books, we have a bunch of them, sets, right? Each book is this,
I know.
right? And for this is for AMCA preparation, let's say for example. There's again another set of math counts, volume 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8, like whatever is your We have limited time for the kid to prepare. So which is better, or is there any specific path, or because kid can't do everything. They have limited time, they have other activities too.
Okay, what I would suggest is you don't have to go through each and every problem in each chapter, because I know that actually, through experience I can tell it becomes difficult to go through that. What you would do is you would try to learn the concept and then try out 1 or 2 problems of each kind to get yourself clear on the concept, and then try to proceed through that through all of the chapters, all topics. Once you have covered all the topics, what I would say is like they have suggested already, if you go to Alchemist, right? So then you can try to attempt, then you will be in red zone first, and then you'll go to orange. If you get to green, then you can say that topic is covered. Try to do all green at least for all topics. And then if you still have, I know each kid has like 5 activities, 10 activities. So if you have time and then you are really interested in math, make it to blue level. Okay, that is how you should. Yeah, because depending on what time you can spend, you can. So, but
Figure out what subjects you're like a little weaker in or what you're strong in, and work on what you're not
Yeah.
super comfortable with.
because they're already good at some topics already. So you just try the problems and then you're good, you can leave it. You can focus on the ones that you need to get up to speed.
Yeah, and I think a general rule of thumb that I always use it for middle school and high school is that the books are good for learning concepts, right? And then from that on, once you know the concepts, doing practice tests or practice problems like the resources on AOPS are the best way to prepare.
Yeah, that's why the North-South contest or any other contest they've been repeatedly saying is to gauge yourself to see where you are at. And if you are comfortable with something, it's fine. If you think that, oh, this I should have done well, that's where you will focus. So these are like checkpoints for you.
And also find your local resources. Maybe find a college student in your local university, which we did for our girls, and maybe they will explain. If it all depends on how much you're interested and how much you want to invest in. If you truly want to go above and beyond, you have to find people if you don't have them already.
Yeah, and also like I know maybe some people are just starting out and younger ones I see probably haven't explored as much. What I would suggest is like no matter where you are, right? So like North South also offers like a 3-hour workshop kind of thing for each subject. So I don't know how many of you already participated. So you can explore all subjects in that and see what their interest is and also what is their current level is at. They will be like covering all topics briefly, and then based on their interest they can actually go through like there is a fall session, summer session, and spring session where you can have weekly classes, so you can explore them as well on all subjects, not just math, and then you can see where you want to take it forward, because there will be other programs that are targeted for specific things like AMC 10, AME, then you can explore them at that level.
You have to work with the child too. When Trisha came and told us that she's not going to do any more competitive math, we were, my husband and I almost passed out. We were like, that's all we know, you know. But she had to, I mean, you have to know your kid as well, or understand your kid and give them the space. For us, it took us a long time, longer than what Trisha would have wanted. But again, it all depends on what you want. And finding the team, and in North South, within North South, that was my goal when I came in as a volunteer, is to increase the offerings for high school students or above the middle school level. So maybe even we have to go beyond AMC and AME if we need to. So that joining those prep clubs might give you, exposure to other kids and coaches of the same level. And maybe we have to do even more than that. Like this year, summer, when we opened up the AMC 10 coaching, inadvertently, we added a second class by mistake. We were only planning to do one. Yep, and we were initially going to cater it to 30 students. The first one filled up to 40. And then there were so many on the waiting list, so we opened up a second class. And so the awareness is increasing and the interest. So we have 80 students who took the prep club. Hopefully they liked it.
We had to scramble for more coaches.
Yeah, yeah. So please volunteer, and you'll find the team. Yeah.
Do the kids have any questions or any comments? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So in my area, I don't really find kids that do have like similar interests to me. Like they like math, but they're not as nerdy as me. Like they don't they don't do competitions and that stuff. So I don't really find that many friends to like work with and like study with.
They've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how, like, they can tell you, but there's another kid. Find friends here. Now, you can have online friends.
You can also find like friends through North South, right? So like you make friends here, and no matter if they are near you or far away, you can still connect. And then
Yeah.
That's the beauty of like 2023. So
Yeah, also art of problem solving, you know.
you get users like on
You had a question.
on like forums and everything.
Yeah, like not only like you asking questions and people like help you, but actually another great way to just learn is other people ask questions and then you like help them out with their questions.
So you make friends.
Yeah.
And you can form a group online also.
Yeah.
See, like.
But
you
stay
guys-
there. We need girls in math. Okay, that was my prime motivation for my girls because whenever we go, and we want girls to win also. I haven't seen that quite in a large numbers yet. So stay there and do it and be persistent, and that will help you in a long way.
And this also goes out to parents because you know your kids are interested. That means that you need to step up and also take the role because like, so what happens is like sometimes the schools are they're exclusive, so they don't allow all the kids to take math counts. AMC 8. AMC 8 is available for MAA, hosts it for everybody, all middle schoolers. But middle schoolers can take it, but the schools sometimes say only the people who are in math counts can take it, or only 8th graders can take it. That's what happens in our school district. So 6th and 7th graders can't take it, even though MAA offers it to them. Anybody under 8th grade, doesn't matter, only middle schoolers. 3rd grader can take AMC 8 if they are ready for it, if they are willing to do.
Having a mentor in school is
So,
really good.
so in 5th grade, when Shreya wanted to take, the school was not offering, and she was in elementary, but middle school can offer, they don't. I took her to Pennsylvania to take the test. Then what happened was I ended up actually started coaching as a volunteer. So then I started offering, since I've been coaching for some time as a club. Then I registered, and I started offering AMC 8 for even, I have third graders started participating. And then, fifth graders can even get full in AMC 8, right? Once they're confident, they don't have to stop there. They can start taking AMC 10s right away. So I have a kid, Ritik Gumpu, right, who was in the National Math Counts last year. Their team won first in National Math Counts. He started taking AMC 10, and now I think he's going to AME, right? So parents can help in their journey. Like Priya helped their kids, right? So you can take it. If you want to volunteer, there is resources available. And Purple Comet as well, like they started participating, right? So like she said, it doesn't have to be a local school district. You can form a virtual team. And then, all the others are individual competitions. Purple Comet is a team competition. They actually made a very good connection. So people who have done that with me, like they've moved out, but they have still fondly remember that. So you can help them in the journey.
I think we have to leave it. I think there's another session after this.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want, we can talk outside as well.
Hopefully you got enough information to get your kids to...
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Maybe it's time to...
Hi, my name is Yalini. I'm also in 8th grade. I live in Mountain House, and my passion is about malnutrition and food equity.
Hi, I'm Prasanna. I'm a software professional. We live in Fremont. My passion is to promote veganism and to adapt to an environmental friendly lifestyle.
Okay, myself Sampath Santana. I live in Mountain House. I live in, sorry. Hello. Hello, sorry about that. So I live in Mountain House. I'm a mentor here in YCJ program for last 1 year, a product manager by profession. I will get started here as we have folks online, and then if more folks join here as well. From the agenda perspective, first we have a short video about what is the change maker. Then we will talk about very elaborately the program itself, and then there's a multi-year program. So the more focus is on the year 1, so we will elaborate, the kids will elaborate on the year 1, and then we'll talk about the benefits for the kids, and also fireside chat, and then take some questions from you. And I'm not sure whether we have online questions here. But first we will, a couple of minutes we spend on the overall vision, what's this program about in this video. Can you turn on the video? Just click it.
How many people in your school, company, community are change makers, and why does it matter? The old game was efficient but repetitive. Today, machines do most of that for us. The world is changing fast. A global mind shift is happening. Innovation in technology is connecting us more than ever before. We're sharing more and working differently as the next generation pioneers the jobs of the future. The status quo is no longer enough. It presents a new inequality. Those with the skills to thrive and those without. What matters is how we evolve and create change. Technology may drive the how, but change makers drive the why. Let's transform how we learn, work, and live together in a dynamic team of teams. Empathy for the good of all. Teamwork, fluid and open. New leadership where all lead. And change making, transforming your world however small or big. We can all grow up no and enables others to lead and thrive. Let's lead the Everyone a Changemaker movement together. Ashoka, everyone a changemaker.
Good. Hello. Yeah.
How many people in your
Just click next. So, Young Changemakers is about a partnership with network, like Not-So Foundation, along with Ashoka Foundation. They are pioneers in this social entrepreneurship. Last 3 years, Not-So Foundation is collaborating with them. They have developed this curriculum and helping Not-So Foundation to come up with this program, right? It's about what's the skill set you need for next generation of kids, apart from your regular curriculum activities. You need to be more empathetic and socially aware the issues happening around the society, how you make an impact in the society. That's a concept, and Ashoka Foundation is supporting us in this to enable this program here. Before we move along further, I just want to introduce what is social entrepreneurship itself, right? There are, being here in Silicon Valley, like we have a lot of startups whose main intent to solve some of the challenges through technology and make a business out of it. It's very similar one. So the kids here come up with social ideas, trying to solve some of the challenges the community is facing today, and they try to solve it in a very entrepreneurial spirit. The only difference here, the nuance is that your ideas should make some social impact, right? Like you are building an enterprise which is going to support the society and change the society. That's the social entrepreneurship we are talking. We have just my personal favorites. I have listed down here 7th generation who are sustainability and equity. That's their focus. They make awesome products that helps the ecosystem. And then Grameen Bank, we all know that's based out of Bangladesh, where it's about microfinancing they offer to the poor. That's one of the enterprise. And then Tom's is very interesting, which I got to know recently, that they sell, it's like a regular enterprise. They sell shoes, awesome shoes, but at the same time, every shoe you purchase, they make sure that one pair of shoes goes to the underprivileged community elsewhere in the world. So that's the kind of business model these social enterprises are thinking about. Our kids here also are in the similar path. So this is all about social entrepreneurship, and then how YCJ or Youth Changemaker program is supporting these kids to be a successful social entrepreneur. Next, please. So this has been running for last 3 years from the North-South Foundation perspective. I just want to showcase some of the ideas here. If you see Arjun, I think he's a 7th grader. He found out that one of the main challenge in his community for kids to get involved in the sports, that lack of equipment. So what he started doing is like he started collecting the used shoes, sports shoes from his community, and then started recycling it and then make some money out of it, and then also in certain cases go and distribute to other community members. That's an awesome idea from Arjun. And then Samvit, who was, I think, last year's cohort from the OICJ program, his passion is about biking. So what he found as a challenge in his community is like one of the issue with the community why they are not adopting biking widely is that there's not enough bike racks. So he found out that challenge, and he started to work with city governments and others so that more bike racks can be installed. These are some of the passionate ideas these kids come up and then try to solve as when they are in the cohort. Another one, a little girl, Sandhya, her passion is about yoga. So during COVID, she thought, okay, let me also teach yoga to other kids since I am learning. If you see a nice picture, she has just started a Zoom session where she started teaching yoga to other kids. This is, her passion is like one day I want to have my own yoga studio, right? That's her passion. So other very successful one from my view is that Eye to Eye from Srinika. So this one, she collected all the prescription eyeglasses which is already used. Instead of throwing it away, she had a drop box and she collected it, refurbish it, and then send it to back to India and also underprivileged communities here. That's her passion. The important statistics is like she was able to collect around 200 plus eyeglass pairs, right? These are expensive eyeglasses. It's not like broken or anything. It's just that you got higher power or lower power. You just lying around those, right? These ones she got it and then she was able to donate it. So these are some of the ideas the kids are working on. This is from last year. So this year also we have a cohort. The batches are going around, 30 kids are participating, and then we are mentoring them to nurture their ideas. So just give you a glimpse of what ideas we have, the kids are working on. So going back to we just saw an example, and then going back to the vision why NSF is doing this. This is Dr. Chituri's vision to enable the kids for the next generation kind of life skills which is needed. First is identify the passion within, right? So each kid has a passion. In order to identify what the passion they have, the mentors and the program itself will help them. The identification of the passion. Some of them has a passion on biking, some of them has a passion of sustainability, as kids here told. Some of them have passion about equity. So this is just to identify the passion and then go ahead and see what problems exist in the world and then try to come up with a solution. Right? Other thing, as you are going to identify the problem, you need to be empathetic. Right? That's more critical here. You can be a lot of curriculum enabled or curriculum focused mindset. That's one aspect of it, but other aspect is you have to be more empathetic. You need to understand what's happening in the society. You need to sometimes put yourself in other shoes and see the problem in a different perspective, right? That's something the program offers, enable you to go, like being empathetic. The other thing is about compassionate. Unless you are compassionate, you won't be able to see the problem which exists in the society. You might just pass by, but you won't be able to see that problem which is existing in the society. So these are the main two aspects outside of generic things which this program enables, right? The leadership skills. So these kids are going to form their own teams, which is a very good one. Like you go and explain your idea. You cannot explain your idea unless you are passionate about it, right? You need to be passionate. You go and explain that idea to your other friends, onboard them, become a team, right? Form a team. So that gives you a lot of opportunity to be a true leader. And then you be a change maker in the community itself. Leadership skill and communication skill and how to execute on some of the projects. Some of the things these are going to teach you. But this is a kind of vision which NSF has, that kids has to nurture to be successful in the next generation. So this kind of vision we have. Next we'll go and talk about the YCJ program structure itself. So this is a 3-year program, as I told. In the first year, it's what we call activation. It's a complete 1-year program where kids come in. We have a monthly session where we talk about how to nurture the idea further, be it marketing, be it executing that idea, or go and validate the problem. So those are like typical any startup accelerator program, right? You see in Silicon Valley here. It's very similar to that. Entire 1 year you spend time and come up with that exact problem statement, what you want to solve, and start taking the first actions. Second and third year, there is opportunity. The kids can be a mentor and then help other kids as well in the same program. Also, they can continue to execute the idea which they have picked up in the first year. So YCJ program offers them tools and knowledge to support them continuously in that program. Third year or like fourth year onwards, the idea is that every kid who has gone through, say if the kid starts in the middle school, this kid started in 6th, 7th grade. So the idea is as they go through this program, as they fine tune their own solution which they are building, either it's a technology-based solution or other forms of solution, when they go into high school level, it enables them to start their own social entrepreneurship, social enterprise, right? That's the idea. Like every kid potentially will have their own social enterprise as they go into high school. Or they could form a club in the high school, or they can take some other initiative in the community. That's what we are enabling right from the middle school throughout the high school. So to go into details on each of these program structure, I will hand over to the young mentors who are part of this, like who have been graduated last year or year before, to take us through what are the steps, what is required from the kids, right? What is expected from the kids, whether you have to be, how much time you have to spend per week, and what is that expected from kid on this journey. So I'll hand over to the kids here.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, so as previously just talked about, the YCJ program is a 4-year immersive program that is designed to take the change makers through every step of the way, which the mentors will obviously guide the change makers through this. And this program was actually adopted by our friends at the Ashoka Foundation. So that's where this idea originally originated, and we brought it here to the North-South Foundation in order to be able to reach more people. So we believe that every child anywhere can be a change maker, and that's why we have this program. We want to make sure that every single child has access to something like this and is able to become a change maker to contribute for the good of the world. And this is sort of the journey for the first year. So as you can see, we have 5 benchmarks here. The first benchmark is the spark. And the spark is when the change makers sort of start to gain an idea of what they want to do. This is when you start to learn what your passions are and what your interests and hobbies are. And throughout the change making journey, you are able to channel these passions through finding solutions for the problems that you are able to identify in your community. So when you're finding your spark, you're learning to empathize deeply with the problem. You're looking around in your community, you're talking to people, you're understanding what problems you have in your community, what kinds of things need to be solved, what people are maybe minorities in your community and need to be spoken for. So many people have projects relating to that as well. So basically you're using your skills, you're discovering these talents that you have and are starting to think about what sort of problems you can solve in your community. After this, the second benchmark of the first year is the first action. So this is when you start to interview people about your problem, and we have these things called empathy interviews. And we guide the change makers through this process. We teach them how to talk to other people. They have to build that confidence in themselves. And as they just talked about, you can't talk about something in front of other people unless you have an actual passion for it. So this is when you're starting to channel that passion through and you're considering potential solutions for problems in your community. And you're starting to create like a rough draft for your first action, and you're thinking about what this could potentially be and what your solution could be in the end for this problem that you've identified. After this is the third benchmark. You've worked on your project, you have your action plan, you started something small, maybe not what your final result is going to be, but you have something. This is when your story is getting told. This is when you're pitching your idea. This is when people are appreciating you for what you've done. And we have these pitches, which is also when you can start to fundraise through what you've done in order to expand your project even more. And you're able to talk to more people about this. For example, you can host assemblies at your schools and talk to your friends about this, things like that, in order to be able to involve even more people in what you've done. This is also when you can apply for things like grants, awards, prizes for your work and what you're going to continue to be doing. After this, the fourth benchmark in the first year is when you have your official solution design. This is when you have sort of your main club or the organization that you have. You've built your team and you are being able to put all of your ideas into action, and basically you know what you want to do with your project, and you have come at least a little bit closer than you were originally to solving the problem that you had originally identified in your community, after which you become a change maker citizen, which is when, like the three of us over here, you become youth mentors, or you continue to give back to the change making community, you continue to work on your project, as well as guide the new change makers in the next cohort session in the next year, and help them be able to create change in their own communities as well. And this is just sort of the first year journey, so this is what would happen throughout the first year, and obviously your project continues to grow and change and evolve as you get older and more mature, and as you have more experience being a change maker. And some people choose to change their projects as well, because passions change and hobbies change, and obviously we understand that. So yeah, this is just the first year benchmarks, and yeah.
Manu, can you talk about the second year?
This is about the first year. The year one of the Changemaker pathway is focused on the spark, first action, and building a community. Each month we learn about a new idea relating to identifying your spark and taking your first action to intentionally create positive change in your community. A hyper-focused approach on these two pillars of the spark and first action are intentional to help carve out time for the change makers to learn about their interests and acknowledge what propels them to move forward. There will be challenges throughout the year, but since we stretched out the pathway, The changemakers have the time and resources to consider their approach. The program layout includes monthly cohort meetings, which are opportunities for everyone to come together, learn about a new aspect of the change-making journey and how it applies to their project, and complete group activities to practice what was taught. Reflection groups happen in between each monthly session to check in on the changemakers' progress and work on their goals for the monthly session.
So after the first year of the program, we have other things that we can expect. So we have many different avenues within the YCJ program, and this is because initially after finding your passion and like recognizing the potential and the impact that you can make on the world, you're ready to like lead any problem that you can do. And then there are also bi-weekly meetings that we host after year one just to check in where you are on your project. And after that, you can also become a youth mentor like us, and we basically we make content for the monthly meetings, and we also teach other youth mentors about what they can do to start their changemaker journey. And within North-South Foundation, there are other projects that you can also take, and in those projects, you can participate in them because in year one, whatever you learn can carry on to any project that you want to take.
Good. So this is the journey we have, like a first year, very engaged journey for the students. Like every other week we meet and mentor them. There is also requirements at the end of the first year. You need to meet the graduation requirements that you need to participate in each of these meetings and sessions, and have some deliverables also as part of like what's your first action you took for your idea and others. So at the end of the first year, we have a celebration where all the participants will come in and pitch, and also a pitch competition kind of thing, where they come in and present their ideas, submit a video explaining their idea, and also come live in front of judges, present their ideas, and take questions, right? So once that pitch competition is done, so top 5 kids and ideas will be selected and provided some seed funding. Very typical to startup ideas, like the kids will get seed funds, so which they can use it and further develop their ideas. So you can either form a team, or if you want to build a website, you can build a website, or you are going to build some IoT kind of projects you can do. So those are some things which kids already done in the last previous years. You get a seed funding, you start go and utilize it, and then come back in second year, third year as like what support you need from the YCJ program. That's overall like a journey or the vision of the YCJ. From in the perspectives of skills and benefits, we already touched upon a little bit. Creativity, which is very critical, like when we start on the first session itself, we talk about how to come up with ideas, like first of all, like how to identify the problems, so that's something, and then be creative in the solution. The solution could be a technology solution, it could be some other things like you're going and talking to government agencies or forming a team. Those are all different kind of solutions you could do. And then being part of community is very critical here, like you go out and build teams and validate your idea. Those are some things it's just right. Other thing is empathy building, which also we touched upon. The kids has to go out and try to think through how the community feels about the problem that exists there. And the resiliency, like first year, it's very guided, but second year onwards, it's more of a self journey where YCJ come in, support them on the tools and knowledge it needs us. So these are the kind of skill sets. All the process is gone through like a design thinking process. Ashoka Foundation has a very good structure for the program which we follow in terms of design thinking, out of box thinking, how to solve this problem like a true entrepreneur, right? That's the journey experience we give this to these kids. So having said that, we'll move on now to fireside chat, and maybe you kids can share some of what projects you have done and what was your experience going through this. Carly?
So my project was Nutri Access, and I started it initially in the first year. In the first year of the YCJ program, and basically, first I'm going to touch up on my problem background. And my problem was malnutrition, and it really shocked me how there were many kids out there who didn't have enough food to eat. So I tried to come up with a solution for that problem. And my solution was to come up with, you know how kids often like cupcakes or cakes? So I was going to take unhealthy foods like that and make them healthier and more affordable for kids who didn't have enough to eat. And some of my achievements so far are that I have actually started fundraising for my project, and I sold my products at a local business fair at a minimal fee to raise funds. And at that fair, I won the most original award and won some prize money. And I also got a certificate signed by the California Congressman Josh Harder. And my next steps are to distribute my product to underprivileged kids who need it, and I'm going to do this with the help of partnering up with another nonprofit organization. So, Sachi, what was your project? Yeah, so my journey really just goes to show how much your passions and interests can change over the years. So my original project was to try and bring people together in my community. So I live in Foster City, which is a pretty small town. And I noticed that, especially after the COVID pandemic, everyone was on their devices all day. Not many people were coming outside like they used to before. And so my project was mainly geared towards bringing people together. We would host things like weekly sessions in parks. That was sort of our main idea, to do things like athletic classes, dance classes, having social gatherings in the parks. And basically our main idea was just to bring people, especially adults, out a lot more and be able to increase a lot more of the social interaction going on in our community. But after a while of doing this and planning this project out, I realized that this wasn't exactly what my main focus was geared towards, and I was sort of like starting to lose interest in this, and I wasn't really passionate about it as much anymore. And so I was able to actually talk to some of the mentors at the YCJ Foundation, and they helped me figure out that what my real passion was, what I really wanted to do more, was focus more on sustainability. And this was actually a perfect fit for me because ever since I was younger, I have been really passionate about sustainability. So working on something like this was really cool for me, and it was like me being able to see sort of my dreams like come alive. And what we do now is I own, my foundation was called Nurture Nature, and we work on things like trash pickups, beach cleanups around our area, and we educate people on how to keep our city more clean and green. Things like explaining to people the difference between what sort of trash goes in recycling bins and what goes in normal trash cans and compost, things like that, and talking to people about how they can start things like gardens and compost areas in their own homes and in their own households, and work together in their own households and play a small part in making our city more green. So that's sort of what my first project was, and as you can see, my journey evolved and changed over the years, and it's finally evolved to something that I really enjoy doing and actually makes a difference in my community. Monvik, what was your first year project?
My project for the first year was inclusion to kids with special needs. The problem with these kids is they struggle to socialize with other kids of their age group. So my solution to this problem was to hang out with these kids, talk to them, meet them at the park, my house, online, anywhere. We do many activities like fishing, hiking, playing in the park, a lot. So they got more comfortable to talk with other kids. So this problem for them was gone, and they could finally become a part of the community and make friends, and everything is good after that. Yalini, how has learning about change making impacted how you view the world?
Learning about change making has impacted how I view the world because I'm now able to take in every situation in an empathetic manner, and it has also helped hone my problem solving skills. So even if there's a problem elsewhere, in other places, I'm able to think about it and use my leadership skills to solve it. So Monvik, what was your favorite part of change making?
My favorite part of change making was actually a project my whole cohort did when I was doing change making. It was called Operation Breathe. In Operation Breathe, we uh, gave beds and resources to kids in India who had COVID 19 but didn't have the resources to cure their disease. We gave it to those kids so that they could be cured. We raised $30,000 and it was matched by North South and a few other organizations. It came about to $100,000. My favorite part of this was the fundraising. I fundraised $1,000, and the journey of fundraising was making lemonade stands, math tutoring, knocking on doors. This was a really fun experience for me, and I learned a lot about making money. Yalini, Sachi, how did you learn about change making?
So before YCJ, I was taking multiple classes from the North-South Foundation, including things like math and public speaking classes. And I actually heard about YCJ through one of the presentations, just like the one you all are at here today. And that's sort of when my journey started. And I was immediately hooked by the idea of being able to create change in my community and actually being able to interact with a cohort of people that had the same idea as me and actually be able to build a team of my own to create change in my community instead of waiting for the adults to do it. And it sort of like the idea of kids being able to create change in our community was really cool because as you grow up, you've always heard this idea like, oh, when you grow up, you can do this, right? When you grow up, when you have like the funds and all that, that's when you can actually create change and do things in your community. But hearing the idea that you can do this as a young child and to have people look at you in a way that's like they're impressed like by what you've done, by the change you've created, and actually being able to do something like that in your community, that's a really cool feeling. And I think I'm really glad I was able to actually be a part of all of that. Yeleni, have you ever like faced any challenges in your change making journey, and how did you overcome them?
Well, yes, I obviously did face challenges during my changemaker journey, and one of my biggest challenges was at the beginning of my program during the first year, and that was when I had initially come up with like my problem and the solution. And my main issue then was that I had switched cities after I'd come up with my solution, so I had to retailer my solution and like my problem for my city. And something that I learned from this roadblock was that like if you never give up, then you can achieve anything. So Sachi, what's something that you learned from the Changemaker program?
Yeah, so as you just talked about, like throughout my change making journey, I obviously faced many roadblocks and challenges, but I think one of the main things I learned was sort of the ability to troubleshoot and be able to problem solve. So what our mentors, our adult mentors would do during my cohort was they would hold these sessions, I think monthly, and they would just throw questions at us, and it was like a rapid fire. And they would like ask us what problems were going on with our projects, what was stopping us from moving on to the next step, and they literally provided so much help and guidance that we were literally forced to find solutions to the problems that we were facing. And that's something that was super helpful to me. And yeah, so one of the vital qualities that I gained throughout this journey was the ability to problem solve and troubleshoot through all of these problems.
Thank you, Sachi, Yalini, and Manvik. It's been really great to learn from your experiences. So Sampath, how is your experience of, as an adult mentor in the YCJ group?
Yeah, so I was, thanks Prasanna. So I was part of the journey initially as my daughter was participating, and then I became a mentor. Couple of things which I saw with the journey is that these kids, when they go out and try to identify the problem in the community or in general the problem which they would like to solve, they started doing a lot of research. They went ahead and browsed websites and they spoke. They also did some interviews, like they went ahead and spoke with subject matter experts to identify the problem, right? That was something which was inspiring to me. Like the kids went ahead and made these deep research. North South Foundation also gives you a avenue where it has a lot of the members here have come from variety of backgrounds, so these kids can tap on that background also. Some of them, they went and need to talk to some specialist in neuroscience, so they went and did that, and then some environmentalist or nutritionist, they have to talk. So we enable that kind of thing, right? Where kids, if they have some area which they are not sure about, they need to go and consult. Then that's something which was inspiring for me. The second is like whatever they are already interested, they converted that into this kind of idea form, like be it biking, cooking, or recycling. They just converted that, and then they were able to connect that into this problem area itself. These are a couple of things which I really liked, and then which enabled me to be part of this group. So Prasna, like I know, like apart from this YCJ, you have a lot of connection with NSF, a long journey. Like maybe you can explain so folks here can understand what NSF does, how it touches life, and how it enables the kids. So please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Sampath. So yes, we have a very long association with NSF. Back in India, when my husband was doing engineering, he is the recipient, scholarship recipient from NSF. His family was going through financial crisis, but NSF was really generously funding him. He could focus very well on the education without worrying about the financial parts. And he got into, through the campus selections, he got into one of the top multinational companies, and that's really, we are very, very thankful to NSF. And ever since we came back to US, we have been giving back to NSF, whether it is, volunteering or donations, or, enrolling into competitions, in whatever way we could, right? So I think during the pandemic times, when I was thinking of making my son Manvik as part of NSF family, that is when I heard about this Young Changemakers program that the outreach team was initiating. It was really mind-blowing idea, and I immediately enrolled my son. He finished his first year project. While he was doing that project, these young change makers also had taken some group initiatives. The entire cohort was doing initiatives as well. Like I think first year of pandemic, they had done devices drive. So during the entire nation, all of a sudden, the online education started during pandemic, and here in Bay Area, all the schools are really rich. I mean, they are enough funded, but there are so many places in US where they don't have enough funds. So these kids had collectively raised about $50,000, and then NSF generously matched their money, and they made it as $100,000. And these kids, were able to purchase about 1,000 Chromebooks and distribute to the kids who were in those, underfunded schools. It was really, really a big success. So that really motivated them to look into this kind of initiative for the second year as well. That is when they did the Operation Breathe. This was to help fund in India to the COVID. So during the Operation Breathe time, some of the fund was transferred to the Nirman, where, some kids, unfortunately, they lost one of the parents to the earning parent to the COVID. So this, that organization was helping such kids, in funding such kids. So NSF contributed some of the funds into that, and the remaining funds in making some of the schools have touchless wash basins and these COVID kits and all. So that was really a very enriching and enlightening journey my child had, and I also, as a parent mentor, adult mentor, I get to, work with folks like you and others who has a lot of this empathy, compassion towards society. Yeah, I mean, if you want your child to have this kind of organic growth, this is really a great opportunity. It's a great program offered by NSF through the outreach branch. Yeah.
Yali, can you mention about what you got here?
Yes, I've also brought samples, sample products that you guys can feel free to pick up. It's at the back, and there's also the ingredients, so if you have any allergies, you can check that out too.
Good. So we are almost at the end of the sessions. I just want to give you, I know you will have a lot of questions, but I just want to give you an overview how the timeline looks like. We have this awareness session now in August 19th. So we are in a phase like we are going to conduct multiple information session online, and also we are going to do some offline here in California. We are piloting a local chapter here in a place called Mountain House. Those are things which continue to happen during August and September. And registration is out. You can scan that QR code, and the registration closes at September 30th. And then we will start selecting the cohorts during that phase and start the first kickoff session on October 8th. All right, that's when we start the program formally. We will have guests from Ashoka Foundation and others who are pioneers in the social entrepreneurship. They will come in and go to a kickoff. Generally, what happens between October to May time frame, that's when we meet the kids every month. It's around 1.5 hours, where we will touch upon different topics typical to any startup accelerator, right? Like how to build a team, marketing, execution, those kind of for raising funds, which is important. So those kind of things we'll do until May. Every month we'll have one session. And then what we call as a reflection group. Reflection group is nothing but a small group of mentors, like adult mentors like myself and Prasanna, and youth mentors. We'll talk to these kids, like 5-6 kids and a couple of mentors. Bi-weekly, we'll talk to them on what kind of problems they face, and if they have any questions, and what kind of support they need, if they need access to some subject matter experts or tools and whatever it is, right? We support them in that small setting. After May, starting from summer, they are out and go and do the project execution, whatever they have identified as the first action. So from May, they do that, and then we will have once in a while check-in. And then come August, they need to prepare a video, what they have achieved, and then create a pitch deck, right? The typical, very typical startup pitch deck of like 6-7 slides. What's the problem statement? What's the solution? What will be the impact, and what you need? What's the team, and what you need from the judges, right? The ask could be several things. It could be monetary, it could be some other tools and whatever. So what's the ask? That's the pitch deck they will do, and the pitch competition happens in September time frame, and then the top 5 kids will be selected and given the seed funding. So that's how this program goes, just to be aware like what's the timeline here, and so that you or your friends, families can register for this program. Yeah. So overall, yeah, just I'll come back just one more second. So just a thank you note for everyone here, like these kids who did an awesome job last year, and then also doing as a mentor. And we are volunteers here, but the main drivers for the program, like Naresh, Nitika, and Sriram, those are the program drivers. They will not physically be here. We thank them as well, and also thank overall the NSF organization itself. Any questions, please? Correct, yeah. Mostly all the kids who go through the registration will be accepted. There is a registration fee of around $150, I need to confirm, but that's something which you need to pay upfront. And the kids who pass through that at the end of the cohort, that registration will be returned back. This is just to make sure like the kids participate in this program throughout the year. So all the kids will be accepted, most of the kids will be accepted. There is a graduation requirements you need to pass through. Then you will be allowed to be in the celebration or the pitch event itself. But otherwise, registered kids will go through the program. Yeah, it's a bi-weekly. Every other week, there will be a reflection group where it's a small group, like 45 minutes of meeting where mentors will go and help the kids. Yeah, it's virtual. All of them are virtual. So far, it's all virtual. And then once in a month, 1.5 hours kind of session where the experts will come in and have a full session about each topic. So that will have once in a month.
So what I did is whenever I'm going to like distribute my thing, I'd make it like that day or like the night before. And how I make it healthier is instead of like using plain flour, I use like ragi flour, which is like millet flour. And instead of using sugar, I use palm sugar or like jaggery. And there are some other like more nutritious like substitutes that I put like other powders and stuff. So you do it from scratch. You don't collect the cupcakes. No, no.
Yep. Yeah, please. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so there is an alumni forum also. I don't know whether you receive those emails. So there is a alumni meet which happens. I'm not sure of the frequency. I need to check. So you could participate in that, and then there are the Ashoka Foundation folks also join there to support the ideas. So there's a alumni forum. You can join there.
And just to add, if I understand your question, so is this a new idea he has now, or was this the idea, same idea he did? Hmm. Yeah, he can again if he wants to go through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, then as Sampath says, I think alumni meetings, if he can attend and some mentors can pitch in and see, listen more closely and see, give some pointers.
Yeah, I think we can start doing that same, like whatever new idea we can support that. Should not be a problem. Yeah, yeah, please go.
So I have a question is like about the year one model. So is there a template or a catalyst, like a business model to help pinpoint and further the interest?
Yeah, there are templates, right? You guys have like there are templates which they use, like a business model canvas, where it's again part of the design thinking process only. It's a complete journey. So they start with to identify the problem, how to validate the problem, and then when you come up with some solution, you need to go whether that solution is validate, and then complete canvas on business model, whether the who are the recipient of it, whether they like it or not, you will validate that. Yeah, there is a complete template we'll go through. Yep. Yeah, please.
So in relation to that question, there's a kids finish that 1 year and if they're not in the top 5, 6 or whatever funding team, then what? Like after that?
No, there is a continuous alumni events are happening. So there is a check-in. I don't exactly know the frequency. So there is all the registered participants we sent out the email to them, and then the alumni can come in if they have any questions or further support. YCJ program supports them with subject matter experts or tools or whatever, right? There is a continuous support channel is there. It's just that you need to make use of it. In the first year program, it's a mandatory requirement that you need to be part of that meeting. Second year, third year, it's up to the kids whether they can come in and start asking more questions, more help.
And to add to Sampath, I think basically this top 5, giving some seed funding to this top 5 projects is just as a just to motivate them to do their best and come up with their best ideas and do their best effort, put their best effort. It is if your child's project is standing 6th, it doesn't mean any different. It's just that it's a token of reward, that's all. There is no differentiation here.
So it's basically yes funding and no funding.
Yeah, and it is a small seed funding. It's not like a, yeah, it's like maybe, it's few $100s. It's $250 or something like that.
Yeah, they got, I think they got $200 or $250 for the kids.
Yeah, it is just, to keep them on their toes and do their best efforts.
Yeah, I think last year.
It is just to see the kids' interest throughout the journey. How many kids are continuing? They did not drop off in between. So to see that commitment only and to encourage us humanity. So it's basically they can continue as long
Yeah.
as
Yeah, they can continue as long as. So there is a path for that. It's up to the kids to make use of it. First year is only the mandatory program. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, please. No, the cohorts are like based upon the registration, right? So based upon the registration, you are selected, you are picked. Like if you go through the registration process and paid the amount and other things, that's how the cohort is selected. I don't think there is any other specific selection process, but the reflection groups are based upon, so the time, right? We will pick 2 or 3 time slots. If one of that fits you, you can be that group. That's how the groups are made. Mostly based upon time slots and other things, not like a specific category or anything, not like a which grade or anything, based upon the time slots which is available.
Okay, so so the people in the cohort like have to discuss and then get a certain like topic that they all agree on?
No, this is an individual program. So each participant, you will have to come up with your own idea. The cohort is there to, or the reflection group cohort is like entire bunch of year, right? That entire kids, but the reflection group is small group. Only 4 participants might be there, 4 or 5. There you can discuss about your idea and help each other, but it's about an independent one. You can bring your team from outside, but this one is like for individuals here. Yeah, you are the founder of your own idea. Yeah. Yep.
What do you do if a child has an idea and it's great, but it's too big for to be executed?
Yeah, we take it in chunks, right? Like some of these ideas are like moonshot ideas also. Kids are kids, they come up with that kind of idea. So that's all we have, like a first action, right? We just go say, what's the first step you can do, and take it in chunks, and you need to validate also. It's not like you just go and implement that idea, right? Like, for example, Yalini's idea also, it's not, we still don't know whether it's a great idea or not. She's doing that and she's trying to get feedback. So we break it into phases and take like whether the first phase and go and validate it. And eventually you get there. That's how we are encouraging them.
So
Yeah.
that's where the adult mentors.
Exactly. Adult mentors comes in, and also the Ashoka Foundation is super great in this, right? They have all the knowledge because they bootstrap several social enterprises. They also support us in this. Yeah. Any other questions? I think we are. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's still valid. The kid has to be here geographically. That's one of kind of requirement, but the project can be elsewhere. So even the eye-to-eye project, which I forgot her name, like she collected the eyeglasses. Some of it she shipped back to India also. So that's very much possible. Yeah.
They should be able to attend the online sessions as per the US time zone. Basically, that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, several ideas are project execution, because folks have a lot of contacts there to execute. Like so that's how they end up. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we are also
On time, like 2 o'clock. Yeah, so we are good. Thanks. Hope like if you have any other questions you can ask, please enroll. Thank you very much. Thank you.